Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Yes. I was like, oh my
All
God.
right. I like to start the morning off by talking to myself um, on YouTube. So, okay, this is Universal Collections LLC versus Lenitria Pines. Counsel, can I get your name?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. My name is Robert Warner, P48843, representing Plaintiff Universal Collections.
All right, and Miss Pines, can you tell me your name?
My name's Lenitra Pines.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Good morning.
All right, so we were here a week ago on this case, and there were some issues, and Miss Pines made an argument that she hadn't actually signed onto the lease because she did not initial each of the bottom of the pages, but she did sign the last page as a tenant. I have reviewed the file, Miss Pines, and you did receive personal service. There's an affidavit in the file that you received personal service of this complaint. And I'm definitely I'm sympathetic. And I think that, you know, there could be something to your argument, but I'm ultimately limited by Michigan court rules. And I'm limited in that I can set aside the judgment only if it is filed within, the request is filed within 21 days after the judgment is entered. We had a substantial period here between the time the judgment was entered and the time you filed to set aside the default. And I would have given you some credit. I know you did file the objection to garnishments, but even if I use the objection of garnishment date, you were well beyond the entry of the judgment.
Your Honor, may I speak?
You may.
I was never properly served. Even
You were.
even looking at the example, the exhibit that they provided, the description they give is a Black female, late 20s, dark hair, thin. That could be, and it had been anyone in my building. I live in a apartment complex with several different people. I was never properly served because I would have never had let it got this far because it's not my debt. I would have showed up for court and I would have explained then and there that it's not my debt. It's a very vague description that they give. That could have been anyone. It's provided in Exhibit 1.
Miss Pines, I don't doubt that you were out of the apartment, but you signed the the agreement is with you, and there's an affidavit from someone indicating that they served you. And I understand that Black female, late 20s, dark hair thing could be a lot of women. But it was served at your residence to somebody who was an adult at the very least. And Ms. Pines, I want to be clear. I'm sympathetic to you, but I cannot. I have to follow the law.
Ma'am, they could have definitely served it to an adult.
I have to deny your motion to set aside the default judgment because the Michigan court rules do not allow me to do so.
Judge, I live alone. I live in an apartment complex with other families. Like, it's a building.
No, Ms. Pines, it says it was served at your residence. And last time we were at court, you told me you lived with other adults at the time.
No, I didn't. No, I lived at Aurora with my mother. That's what I was explaining to you, that I lived at Aurora, the one property that they're trying to sue me for. At that time, I was living with my mother. My property that I just got put out of, I was living by myself. It was just me, but it's a building.
Ms. Pines, the court rules do not allow me to grant you the relief you are seeking.
And can you explain?
So I have to deny your motion.
I'm confused why it's being denied because I was never, like I just said, I was never
because you signed the lease. There's a notice that you were personally served. You did not file your motion to set aside the default judgment within the 21 days mandated by the court rules. There are a litany of reasons that I am bound by Michigan law and cannot set aside this default judgment.
Okay, well, Judge, you do know that the lease expired in 2020 and that the money that they're trying to sue me for is for 2022 through February through
I know,
2000.
but Ms. Pines,
And I
you don't
wasn't
have
living
any
there.
proof, Ms. Pines, you don't have any proof that you served the landlord notice that you were vacating the premises.
That's
And the
because the lease
individuals that you
expired.
signed that lease with continued to live there. So I'm trying to
I'm
explain
confused,
this.
Judge. I guess I'm confused, Judge, because I get what you're saying that I signed the lease. I hear what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I guess I'm confused because it expired in 2020 and I moved
There's
in
a holdover
2021.
clause in it that says if you continue to reside at the premises, there are two clauses in there. One is that if you continue to reside there, you would become a month-to-month tenant. And the second, the holdover clause, that's section 28 of the lease. And there's a notice section as well that says if you vacate, you have to give written notice. And you don't have written notice showing me that you vacated that premises. And I know you presented another lease that shows you no longer resided there, but you don't have proof of a written instrument that showed you notified the landlord that you would no longer be residing there. And if I had that piece of paper and you could show that you provided that written notice that you had vacated the premises, we might be in a different spot. Or I have to follow the court rules. So that's my ruling. And Ms. Pines,
Okay.
I'm sympathetic, but I'm governed by court rules. So we're all set. I'm following the law. And I cannot grant your motion.
Okay, so I'll just have to search for that letter and then I'll just have to fight this because I
Yes.
can't. Yeah.
Yes, please search for that letter.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Have a great day.